Hi, everyone. Chris O'Connor here with State of Search by DFW SEM. I am so excited to have our guest speaker here tonight. I think you're going to learn so much, and it's about leveraging organic strategies and influencer marketing for success on social media. Who doesn't need that? I mean, we all need help on social media, especially looking at some of the items that are out there. But before we get started with Kymber, I want to talk about a little bit about State of Search. And I am very, very excited to announce that we are about 60% sold on the tickets. I cannot tell you how exciting it is. I just secured the hotel VIN for our after hours party again. So if you came last year, you definitely want to come this year. We'll definitely have a band again, but we're going to have some great teachings going on. And you want to get in because the tickets do raise periodically. Once a month, actually, they go up about $100 every month. There might be a sale here and there, but we're at 60% capacity. So we're looking for the rest of you to jump in and be part of State of Search and come get your knowledge on. And Mike, who is part of Kymber's, business, whatever. I don't even know how to explain that, but Kymber can explain that. But he's coming, so you all want to come, right? Because he is, last year, I'm telling you, he had a full house, standing room only in his while he was doing his presentation. So I just hope that you all come. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, Casey or Kevin?
No, no, that's it. Get your tickets while you
No,
can because they're running
no.
out.
They really are. And we're not kidding, 60%. It's been a long time since we've had 60% sales this far ahead. We're only in July. I only say we're only in July, but it's going to come fast for October 28th and 29th. That's when the conference is. It's in Grapevine, Texas. It's at the Grapevine Conference Center or Convention Center, and there's lots of hotels around there. Great food. We have a special speakers dinner, which we already have all of our speakers chosen. We're just going to have a ton of fun and a lot of learning, a lot of knowledge. I promise you'll be overwhelmed. You can take at least one item home with you and implement it into your business or give it to, coworkers or anything like that. So if I don't want to keep Kymber any longer, but let me tell you a little bit about Kymber. I think I heard her say when I hopped on that her kids are probably more techie than her. Did you really say that?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah, my son is too. I'll own up to that one too. But and it's because they live in that world, right?
yes.
So Kymber is a seasoned expert with over a decade of experience in digital marketing. So this is somebody that you want to listen to, and I bet we're going to have a lot of great information from her. She's the director of social media at Smart Sites, which is Mike Mountain's company, and she oversees the development and execution of comprehensive social media strategies tailored to each client's unique goals and objectives. That's pretty cool because everybody has a one item thing for everyone, and it doesn't really work that way. So I'm excited to hear Kymber. And without further ado, Kymber, tell us all about what you're going to share with us tonight. And I'm going to disappear because I just want to take lots of notes. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Hi, Tim. Hi, I can't see that. Resilient Stories. Oh, Danielle. Very excited to have you guys here. Kymber, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you again for this opportunity. I do appreciate it. I love sharing what I've learned over the years and how we do things here at Smart Sites with everybody, even if it's just a small bit of information that can help everybody in their businesses. So, again, she introduced me. I am the director of social media here at Smart Sites. I built this department from the ground up a few years ago, and we recently added influencer marketing to our repertoire of services here. My team is a small team of 5 people right now. All with different walks of life. We have some people who have been in social media for over a decade, some newer ones who are quite a bit younger than me, but those are the good people to have on social media because they stay up on the trends and stuff like that. What I'm going to go over with you today is leveraging those organic strategies. So we're not talking about paid ads, paid campaigns, just the strategies that go into a great organic strategy. And then also influencer marketing and how these two work together flawlessly to just elevate your online presence and your social media presence. Now, I tried to simplify it a little bit because what we present to clients here at Smart Sites is about, depending on the client, between 30 and 40 page document of a strategy that our specialists create on their behalf. And we take a very deep dive into every aspect of their digital presence, of their buyer personas, of their target audience, of their business, all of that good stuff. So I've summed this up into hopefully about a 20 to 30 minute presentation. And of course, I will be answering questions along the way as well. So feel free to send those through. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in here. I'd like to start by talking about the importance of social media in general. This seems pretty generic, but a lot of people wonder, does my business need social media? Why do we need social media? So on the organic side, again, the posting, the content, the engagement, the interaction, what are the goals? Why do we need it? Creating brand awareness is the first thing. I always like to tell people social media, organic anyways, is at the top of that sales funnel. We are making people aware that you exist. If they aren't aware that you exist, they can't patronize your business anyways. Building your online reputation. This is important more and more now than ever. And this is one thing we help our clients manage. We respond to reviews, we check reviews, we help them handle negativity, which everybody faces. There's nothing wrong with having negative reviews here and there. It's about how you handle those, how you respond to those, what you do about those that really matters in the eyes of probably 90% of consumers. Marketing and promotion, of course, in the end is about sales and leads. You want to be marketing your business. Customer engagement. This is a huge one. A lot of people go to social media directly now for that customer service. They message you, they comment, whatever it might be. Social media almost is like that first step before people even go to website forums anymore. And support online search. So around 2019, the algorithms on Google actually changed. It used to be they did not crawl social media platforms, and now they do for search engine results. Is it going to replace SEO initiatives? Absolutely not. I would never say that. I actually started at Smart Sites as a web and SEO project manager, so I also know and understand the importance of that. But social media does now fit into that picture. You can also link all of your individual social media platforms to Google My Business Now, which is also a recent change. So definitely a lot of factors going on here, and these are the main reasons why. Let me switch back over here, make sure there's no questions. All right, perfect. So moving on to statistics. I am a big statistic person. Everything we do at Smart Sites is data-based. We're not just going to throw ideas and information out there that we can't prove to actually be beneficial or why we should be doing something. So to run through these quickly, 43% of small businesses and marketers say social media was one of the most effective channels for driving leads. And I bet you we're going to see an increase in this over the next couple of years. There's a lot of graphs and information coming out from pretty reputable sources saying that social media and influencer marketing are now starting to surpass other digital marketing tactics. So for me, that's pretty exciting to see. 88% of consumers purchase are influenced by social media recommendations. This is going to get us into the influencer marketing here in a little bit. 74% of social media browsers use platforms to research products before purchasing. I don't know about you guys, but have you ever went somewhere and actually searched for something in a social media platform? I use the search bar constantly on particularly TikTok and Pinterest because those are my two favorite platforms. But more and more people are now discovering brands, products, services, information directly through social media before anything else. 55% of consumers first discover new businesses on social media. So again, kind of backing that up, we're discovering brands, we're discovering products. Roughly 90% of millennials are on social media. That's a lot of us. That's because it's the day and age we grew up in. 69% of consumers trust recommendations of influencers over traditional marketing. So this is a very interesting one too that I will get into a little bit later in this presentation. All right, let's move on. So of course, there's always a first step in any organic strategy. So we're going to go over that kind of stuff first. What to know before creating a social media strategy. There's a lot of research and a lot of steps that goes into making a very thorough and good strategy that will actually help you meet your goals. But there are some basic knowledge and things that you should know first. And this is just a couple of them that I'd like you to start with. So what are your goals? And I say in here realistically for organic, because a lot of people are instantly going to say sales, leads, conversions. Okay, great. Yes, those are goals, and those are end goals of any marketing strategy. But when you're talking about organic, You're not tracking that kind of stuff. Again, reminder, we're at the top of that sales funnel, that brand awareness, me making people aware. So what are some realistic goals that we could set for ourselves? We want our audience to grow 10% year over year. We want to see a following count of this by this date. We would like to see our engagement rates go up. Because if you're seeing those types of KPIs and those types of items, that's going to eventually lead to those leads and sales. Again, if people aren't aware that you exist, if they're not interested in your product, your service, your business, they're not interacting with you, they're probably not going to turn into customers. So the KPIs that come first are those impressions, the audience growth, the website traffic, the link clicks, all of that stuff. Your brand aesthetic. This should be set in place before you start any form of social media. You need consistent colors, fonts to appear to other people. This is going to help you, if you know this ahead of time, greatly when it comes to the actual strategy creation. Buyer personas. This is the biggest one on my screen because this is the one that a lot of our clients really struggle with. Who are their buyer personas? So when I was in college and they were going over this kind of stuff, I'm like, we're literally making up imaginary friends. Like, I don't get it. I don't get the point of it. But we use this in everyday strategies for every single one of our clients. And what we're doing is we're not just saying, hey, we've got Bob over here who likes to golf during the day and he needs a chiropractor because his back hurts all the time. That is not a buyer persona. You need to be taking a real deep dive into who these people could potentially be. And then you take these details of these people and then you can turn that into content and a strategy that would actually resonate with them. So I've put a list of like basic points that we go over in our personas. The basic demographics, that's going to include their age, geographical location, gender, race, if it's applicable for your business, all of that basic information. What do they do? What are their interests? What is their lifestyle? What is this going to help you to do? It's going to help you target them based on those interests and what their pain points are. For example, if you're a chiropractor and you know that your basic demographic is somebody who plays golf, you know they have back pain, you know they have shoulder pain, you can create content around that stuff. Not only that, but you can also choose imagery that resonates and it flashes before them and they're like, hey, that's me. I resonate with that. It's not somebody laying on the beach enjoying their best life. So great information to know. And some of it is a guessing game. I tell my team that all the time because I get asked, how do we know this? Like, we can't get inside their head. No, you can't. But you can kind of understand enough to make an educated guess. And that's all this is. Where do they find their information? Where my dad finds his information for a medical provider or for a product he wants to buy is going to be very different than me. You know, someone who's a millennial, basically. So understanding how they search, where they find their information is also very crucial. Problems they face. Again, what are their pain points and how does your business solve those pain points? Using those two bits of information will help you create content that will get their attention as they're scrolling social. Where are they in their buying journey? Again, this is an educated guess. Do we really know how much they've researched, how much they've Googled, how many places they've called, how many businesses they've looked at? No, not really. But we can take a guess. If they're doing basic searches for your product or your service, they're probably just in that research phase. And now is the time to get in front of them. And now is the time to wow them and really push them down that sales funnel. And the last thing that I want you to ask yourself or know before going into this is, what are the best platforms for your ideal audience? So knowing your goals, knowing your buyer personas, that's going to help you choose your platforms. There are going to be some generations and some people who are way more active on TikTok and some who are way more active on Facebook. So we kind of have a rhyme and a reason to what platforms we're recommending to clients. And we do have clients we have clients come to us and they're like, we want you to manage 7 different platforms. And that is always a red flag to me. I would rather see a business know and understand their audience to the point where they can choose 2 or 3 platforms and manage them well than try to spread themselves so thin over all of the platforms and only, kind of be like blah with them. Every platform has different features. They have different demographics. They have different audiences. So knowing those things is going to help you choose those platforms as well. A question came in here I'd like to answer. Do you have a checklist used for each client? I do. It's not really a checklist necessarily. So in our setup, what we do here at Smart Sites is I've got tasks for each client. So each client comes in, we set up a new project, And we've got a strategy prep task, which has a list of like 20 questions that my team has to go through and answer and research and gather all this information. And then we use that and we do some additional competitor research, hashtag research and stuff like that. We use some software as well for this to help us. And then on top of that, we've got a standard set of strategy slides that are, I think it's like 32 slides long, and we customize those for each client based on that research, based on the questions we've asked, the answers we found, all of that stuff. So while it's not really a checklist, we have a very strong process in place. And I would be happy, on my last slide here, I've actually got a link to schedule a call with me. I'd be happy to share any further insights on that with you guys as well. Okay, so let's dive into a social media strategy. So these are the key components of a social strategy. Like I said, what we do here at Smart Sites is very hefty. We also have an inbound marketing team, a design team, a content writing team. We've got a couple different development teams. We have a whole workforce behind us helping us with this. What we do is almost unrealistic for one person who manages more than one client, which as an agency is what we do. If you worked for a singular brand, it's more realistic to do all of this for just one brand. But obviously we have to do it for multiple clients. So I have just laid out the basic points under each thing that we go over to create our strategies for clients. So audience identification and defining your goals. Define your goals. Obviously, what are you looking to get out of this? Obviously sales in the end. But yes, we're wanting to increase our following. If we're brand new to social media, you need to grow a following. Next is competitor research. This is a big one for us. And we use some software, our scheduling software does some competitor research for us. It will tell us how often competitors are posting, what their top performing posts are, what hashtags they're using that have the best performance, a whole lot of information that we can use and evaluate it a little bit. And in my competitive nature, do it better. That's what I always tell my team. Take this information, know what they're doing well, and do it better for our client, because that's the goal. We're competitive by nature. We're trying to outsmart the competition, which it says on our website. Hashtag research. Hashtags are kind of one of those things where they used to be extremely popular and useful. More and more, they're not as useful. So I don't know if anybody has noticed really, but algorithms drastically changed with the rise of TikTok. TikTok's FYP, which is the For You page, it's your feed when you get into TikTok, is amazing. The way it can predict what you want to watch, what you're interested in based on your scrolling habits is borderline genius. And now we're starting to see Facebook and Instagram and stuff go towards that algorithmic change. It's starting to predict better what you'd like to see, what you interact with, what you hover over the longest. And hashtags used to give us a higher organic reach and impressions. And while they still do if they're used strategically, they're not as important as they used to be. Also, the other change in hashtags. So it used to be they recommended anywhere from 10 to 15 hashtags per post. Now it's like 3 to 4. So we're starting to see a major shift in that. We still do it. How we choose hashtags is we actually use a software where we type in like common hashtags we would typically use for a client. So for like Smart Sites, we use hashtag digital marketing, and it will spit out a list of other potential hashtags, and it gives you some statistics on it. So I can see the relevancy score. How relevant is it to my original one? And how popular is it right now? How many posts are associated with it? How many people are using it? All of that good stuff. And that helps us choose hashtags that will ultimately have the best reach, even though they're kind of a dying fad, in my opinion. Understanding your audience demographics, this goes back to those buyer personas. It may seem silly, but it really does help you create a very strong strategy. Understanding KPIs that support your goals. And I'll get into that a little bit in a couple of slides as well. But what key performance indicators are we going after in support of goals? Choosing effective platforms. Again, like I kind of said on the previous slide, I don't expect every business to be successful on every platform. That's just not realistic. Every platform has its own type of audience, its own type of content. So keeping that in mind is important. Choosing the right strategy tactics. So posts, videos, engagement, outreach. Again, I'll get into some of this a little bit here in a little bit as well, but choosing those right features. Not every business should be posting reels. Not every business should be posting stories. So understanding your audience, how they use social media, what they do on social media is extremely important. And again, that kind of comes back to those buyer personas. Creating internal guidelines and a handbook on social media handlings. This is very important, especially if you have an internal person working on it or multiple people working on it. So we've got not only a social media manual, but I also have a company-wide handbook. If you're going to be posting to our social media, there are guidelines you have to follow. How we talk about things, how we present ourselves, the colors we use, all of that stuff, because consistency is key. Moving on to number 2, platform selection and optimizations. So understanding the audience on each platform is extremely important, and you can find a ton of information out there about that. And which one your audience utilizes, researching and knowing features of those selected platforms. Instagram and Facebook, they're both owned by Meta. They have very different features involved. Keyword optimized bio. So this kind of goes back to how social media platforms are now searchable by Google. So we as a team will use the same keywords in our clients' social media bios, in their posts, in their hashtags that our SEO team is using in their blogs, in their website content, just to create that consistency. Service and keyword optimized service product listings. So if you're listing products, services, and stuff like that within your platforms, it is very important to be using those optimized keywords as well. Cover and profile visuals. I could not tell you how many times a client comes to us and their cover photo is not great. I know it. I have a degree in graphic design. I also have a degree in marketing. I can look at it and say, this isn't wonderful. And I say, we need a new cover photo. And the response is always, but I like ours. Can we just keep it? So them with new options first and saying, hey, what do you think? It makes a difference in their response. Cover your first impression too. It's your resume. If people can't see that and understand that you offer quality, what you offer, or a little bit about your business, you probably should do something about that. Okay, let's move on here. So point number 3, content and visual strategy. What goes into this? Taking images, video footage, editing the images and video footages, creating post graphics as needed, plan and create stories, and create those captions. This all takes quite a few hours for my team. So we do multiple different packages for clients, anywhere from 8 posts to 24 posts a month, and then stories on top of that, engagement on top of that. But these are just the basic bullet points that go into a good content strategy. Now, this is not your overall social strategy. This is just the points when it comes to the actual posts. Management maintenance. Arguably, this is the most important thing about your strategy outside of knowing your audience and creating content that actually resonates with them. So what we do for clients here that we find to be extremely valuable is comment monitoring and responding, message monitoring and responding, boosting, promoting, and inviting new followers. So when you boost a post on social media, you have the ability to click on the people on Facebook specifically, click on the people that have liked that post and invite them to follow your page. And that is a huge win for us in growing an audience. When I say boost, we are not clicking that blue boost button on a Facebook post. We use Ads Manager and we set up custom audiences for every single one of our clients, and we set them up as mini campaigns because it's far more effective. I don't know if anybody remembers, but a while ago there was a big iOS change where data scraping and sharing wasn't allowed anymore between Facebook and Apple phones, and it was just a whole jazz, and it was a buzz in our industry. So a lot of you might not have even noticed it, but it kind of outdated that boost button. The way they pull in data and the detailed targeting you have when you click boost is not accurate anymore. It's a wild guess because a lot of phones don't allow that data scraping anymore. However, if you go into Ads Manager and you go into your audiences and you create a custom audience based on who already follows you, that's more accurate because you're targeting people who already follow you. They have to be somewhat similar. Then we create lookalike audiences on top of that. So a lookalike audience, we try to match by 95%. So we want the people we're targeting in that paid promotion to be shown to people that match the demographics of our current audience by 95%. Again, assuring accuracy that we're targeting the correct people. Now, if you come to me and say, it's literally only my aunts and uncles that follow me on social media, we're going to take a whole different route for that. We're going to do more detailed targeting, more research and stuff like that, because obviously that wouldn't be wildly accurate either. Outreach. So outbound engagement. This is a big one, and I'm going to go over engagement strategies next because they're super important to social media. Review and responding and management in general. Review data, make strategy adjustments monthly. I'm really big on this. So every month at the end of the month, we have a well check with every single one of our clients where we go over reports, we go over what we're going to be posting for the next month, anything they'd like to be featured. And what we're looking at is what worked and what did not work for the previous month. Now, I'm all about letting things kind of simmer for a little bit. You want to try something more than one time to know if it's truly going to work or drive some results for you. However, the nice thing about social media, if you tried something new and it totally flopped, great. You don't have to do it again for the next month. You can change your strategy on a dime with no negative repercussions. Review, responding, and management is also really important to that online reputation, because a lot of times when we're thinking about what consumers are seeing, we're concerned about them seeing any negativity. But what's even worse, if there's no response to that negativity, because then that tells them what kind of business you are. You don't care about customer service. Even the positive reviews, we respond to all of our positive reviews. If people take the time to leave us a great review, which a lot of people do on Google, it's worth 5 seconds to say, hey, thanks for the kind words. We appreciate it. And it shows really great customer service. And that's the kind of business people want to be working with. Let's see here. Clean up bots and inactive accounts regularly. Instagram and Facebook have been hot on the trot with this lately. There are a lot of people that come to us and say, I lost 1,000 followers in 1 week. What's the deal? Yeah, there's a lot of inactive accounts and bots out there. That's just the reality when it comes to digital marketing in general. Facebook and Instagram are consistently cleaning up, shutting down accounts. So if you see a major drop and there's no apparent reason, that is likely why. What we also do manually for clients is we actually go through all of their new followers on a weekly basis, and anything that looks like an inactive account, a bot account, we eliminate it, because we don't want our clients associated with any bot accounts, because it brings down their engagement rates. The algorithms won't support those posts because their algorithms can detect spamminess, basically. And then, of course, tracking and analysis. This is so big. Check all stats monthly at minimum. I honestly will check on a couple of mine weekly if it's a really big client of ours and they have a lot of posts, they have a lot of engagement. There's always something to keep up on. As far as the engagement goes, we are doing that every single day. So stats to track: audience growth, engagements, impressions, reach, link clicks, and shares. We also track website traffic through GA4 as well. Track boosting results. Again, how many clicks are we getting? How many impressions are we getting? How many views are we getting? How many audience members followed us that month due to this kind of stuff? Pay attention to posting days and times if you see discrepancies or inconsistencies. This is super important too, knowing when your audience is active most. Now, a lot of scheduling software nowadays will do this for you. The one we use here at Smart Sites, when I log in to schedule a post, it has a star rating. So 5 stars, it means Monday at 3, 5 stars. That is a hot time for our audience. They are the most active on social media. So that makes a really big difference in your engagement rates as well. Making those strategy adjustments quarterly. Again, certain things you try, I might change on a monthly basis depending on how it goes. I would not change the overarching strategy or topics more than 2 to 3 months at a time, though. What I would change on a regular basis is change up your creatives, your visuals, the way you write your captions. If you see very low engagement, very low impressions, things just aren't moving, people aren't receptive to what you're writing, or maybe it's the time of day you're posting. There's so many variables that go into it, but those are all things to kind of pay attention to as far as that. Let's see here. Where do you start your research for finding personas and stuff like that? That's a really great question. I actually start directly on social media. So I'm getting access to the client's accounts, looking at their audience insights. That gives me the basic demographics. And what's really funny to me sometimes, like not haha funny, ironic funny, we have clients fill out a very thorough questionnaire. It's like 17 pages long when they start with us, but that's because we leave no stone unturned. We're very detailed here at Smart Sites. But what they tell me their audience demographics are and what I actually see on social media in their insights, a lot of times is very different. So I start with social media. And then I go to the Google. Sometimes I will literally Google age, geographic location, what are the common interests in this area? And I try to take a deeper dive into that. The other thing, the probably less popular opinion, but I actually find it very useful, is to go to ChatGPT. ChatGPT or Bard or Gemini or any of them are continuously learning and growing, and they have all of the internet at their disposal. So you could ask for basic demographics, or you could ask for lifestyle interests of these demographics, and it will spit a lot of really great information out at you. And I never take what AI tells me at face value either, just so everybody is aware. I would never recommend you copy and paste anything directly from ChatGPT. Use it as your inspiration, use it as your starting point. The other thing we do is that competitor research and data scraping too. So we use Sprout Social. It gives you a ton of insights and information that you didn't even know was possible to data scrape. So all that stuff will help you with this research. When posting, what do you recommend? Images with posts or just text? Images all the time, hands down. Images, video, carousel posts. I don't really support text only posts. The only platform that's like still kind of okay on is X. Sorry, my brain still wants to say Twitter. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get away from saying Twitter. But X is a very good one for text. But if you're going to be on X, you need to be tweeting multiple times a day because it moves super fast and it mostly is text-based. But it's been proven in study after study that visuals are important because that's what makes people stop their scroll. Use it, ChatGPT, use it for inspiration, not automation. Absolutely. It is an inspiring start to what we do. It gives us ideation, topics, things to build off of when we're hitting a creative block. Because even like my team, who's been working in social media collectively for probably 40 years between all of us, we still get stuck sometimes. I mean, everybody does. And ChatGPT to the rescue always can give me some great ideas or that little boost I need. Okay, so engagement tactics. I have 2 slides to go over this, one for inbound strategies and one for outbound strategies. The reason I go over these specifically more than anything else is because engagement is what will make or break your account. Boosting is amazing. It is needed. Facebook, Instagram, all of them, they're a business. They want your money. They're going to show your post to more people if you boost it. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that as well. But engagement is going to be one of the best things you can do because it gets you part of the conversation. It gets you that reach and brand awareness in an authentic way that puts your name out there more. So what is inbound engagement? This is responding to incoming interactions. It's people reaching out to you, comments on your post, messages in your messenger, reviews on your business, that kind of stuff. What's the goal of this? Improve your customer service and response time, diversify how you interact with your audience, and of course, elevate your online reputation. You want people to feel heard. You want them to be heard. You want them to know, even from an outsider looking in, that you respond to everything. That's such a good thing for your business. How often should this be executed? I mean, 6 to 1, half dozen of another. I say at minimum every 2 days, we check our client accounts every single day. Because one day with something really negative or damaging with you tagged in it or on one of your comments, it could do a lot of damage. I mean, I guess it really also depends how active your accounts are. I have some clients that we have to field 25 to 50 messages every single day. And then I have other client accounts that really don't see a lot of inbound engagement. So we check them every 2 or 3 days and it's fine. We do have an automated QA on our messengers as well. We set that up for all of our clients. That tremendously helps. And my goal is always to push them away from Messenger. We don't want anybody to be living in Messenger day in and day out. So if you go into Meta Business Suite, you can set up for free an automation where as soon as somebody goes into Messenger, a list of questions popped up and they can click their question and it shows them an automated answer. Within that answer is not only the answer, but I always have a call to action in there. Learn more here, leading to a relevant page on the website. Contact us further here, leading to their contact page. Email us here with their email. The goal is to get people out of Messenger. Otherwise, you could live your life in Messenger. Utilizing software that pulls comments, messages, and reviews all in one place, super beneficial. Probably more beneficial for someone like me who manages multiple accounts at one time. But Sprout Social, for example, and I know Hootsuite does this. We've used Hootsuite in the past. I didn't love it, but we did use it. We've used later. There is an inbox where I can switch between comments, messages, reviews, and respond to everything across every platform I manage for clients all in one spot. And that makes it extremely time effective. Chris says, I still say Twitter. Absolutely. I don't think I'm ever going to get away from it. I was actually just working on a presentation earlier today, and one of my team members said, you still have the bird on there. I'm like, I'm not getting rid of the bird. I'm putting my foot down. We're keeping the Twitter bird. Okay, so outbound engagement. This one is probably They're equally as important for different reasons, I guess. But what is outbound? So outbound engagement is reaching out on behalf of your business to grow your brand awareness. You insert yourself in the conversations and place yourself as that industry leader. So what are the goals of this outbound engagement? Increase your brand awareness, grow your reputation, increase followers, and drive that website traffic. How often should this be executed? The general rule of thumb is to do this at minimum for 3 hours a week. Now, that is just an average that we found to be a sweet spot for our clients. Every industry is going to be a little bit different, so keep that in mind. This could be simplified to 30 minutes a day during business days or an hour spread over 3 days. You should do this at least 3 times a week, though. That's my general rule, too. Tactics could include commenting on posts in your feed. So if you're scrolling your feed, comment on other people's posts. I really, really loathe when people will just leave a fire emoji or a smiley emoji. No, add something to the conversation. That's what's going to place you as the industry leader, not just leaving an emoji. Everybody can do that. What they can't do is offer their insights the way you could on behalf of your industry. Seeking out potential target audience members using search navigation in platform and commenting on posts. So for example, if I go onto TikTok and say my target audience is pediatricians, if I hashtag pediatricians, I'm going to come up with a whole slew of pediatricians who are active on TikTok. And I'm going to be in their comment section, making them aware that I exist. We do it all the time for clients, and it works wonders for brand awareness. Posting in groups and responding to posts in relevant groups. This is really big on LinkedIn specifically and in Facebook. So there are groups dedicated to literally everything out there. Posting in groups, whether you're posting an article you recently written, posting an engaging question or a poll, whatever it is, getting part of that conversation. Again, you're getting your brand name out there. You're getting your expertise out there. You're placing yourself as that industry leader. Forums is very similar as groups, just outside of social media. So Reddit, that kind of stuff. There's a ton of different forums depending on what industry you're in. Those are also very beneficial for engagement as well. Sending custom DMs to new followers. So this is a controversial one that I actually do recommend you do, especially if you're a retail business, but tread lightly. Don't make it sound spammy. But basically, if you get a new follower, reach out to them. Hey, thanks for the follow. Here's a 15% off coupon for your first purchase with us. This actually drives a lot of sales. I know I say we don't go after sales and leads on organic social media, and we don't. But in the back of our minds, we always know that our clients want website traffic. They want sales. They want leads. So any small thing we can do to promote that, we are absolutely going to be doing. Okay, so best practices. What works best? That is a loaded question because I'm going to straight up tell you without even reading my points. It depends on your business and your industry. But I did write down some generic points here that kind of work for everybody. Having a good mix of the right platforms. Know your audience and where they browse. I recommend at least 2 or 3 platforms. I know I said earlier you shouldn't be on all platforms. If you can make it work and do it well, and you have an audience on every platform, that is fine. Do it, but do it well. Some people have 2 buyer personas. Other people could come up with 10. There are clients out there that I could easily come up with 20 pages of buyer personas. And within those multiple buyer personas, I could tell you they'd probably be worthwhile to be on every platform for them. Consistency in posting is also really important. If you post once and then you go stagnant for 3 weeks and don't post anything, the algorithms recognize that. They recognize that you're sporadic, you're not consistent, and they're not going to put as much emphasis on your posts in supporting those in the algorithms for impressions, for reach, and stuff like that. I think I read a statistic the other day. The average percent of your audience that actually sees your posts on social media, especially on a business page, is only around 2 to 3%. So that's why engagement stuff is so important. The more engaged with your posts are, the more people the algorithms are going to show it to. Utilizing features presented on platforms. These platforms do not roll out new features for people not to use them. And they put emphasis on posts and pages and people who are utilizing those new features. If stories just rolled out, you better be using it in a way that works for your business. And they will support your posts more, basically. Engagement hours for inbound and outbound engagements, boosting and paid promotion. Again, we are not PPC, we are not paid ads, but ultimately at the end of the day, all these platforms are a business. They will put more effort and emphasis into the pages that financially support them. I hate to say that, and I don't have proof of that, but that the proof I have is how many accounts we've worked on And some of our clients sign up with no boosting and just posting, and they never perform near as well as the ones with paid promotion. Using visuals that will gain the most attention. Again, going back to understanding what's going to stop somebody from scrolling, what's going to resonate with them. If you're targeting a pregnant lady with back pain, you're not going to post a picture of somebody laying on the beach. That's not going to resonate with them. It's not going to make them stop. The visuals are what make them stop first. It's not the caption. It is straight up the visual. How do you choose the right hashtags for your clients? Great question. So it is logic, it is experience, it is kind of a guessing game sometimes, but the software we use, it's called Display Purposes. It is actually free, so anybody can use it. You can go to displaypurposes.com, I think it is. You can type in a keyword or a hashtag. It doesn't even have to be a hashtag. You could type in digital marketing and it will spit out a bunch of keywords. And I have pretty strict guidelines on which ones we choose. So I touched on this before, but the relevancy score, it needs to be above 70%, in my opinion. Again, that is just me and what I like to see, because it needs to be relevant to your original keyword. Trending, it needs to be above an 80% trending score. If it's a hashtag nobody uses, nobody follows, nobody interacts with, there's no point in using it. And then I take it a step further even. I take those hashtags and I actually type them into the platforms we'll be managing for the client. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, doesn't matter. And I want to see what's associated with them. You would not believe what you find sometimes. Some of the most innocent sounding or good sounding hashtags sometimes will bring up trends that you don't want associated with your business. So it's kind of a two-step process for us. But I do highly recommend you keep it to 3 to 4, maybe 5 hashtags per post. That seems to be best now, is what we're finding. Okay, KPIs and tracking. So I tried to keep this one pretty simple as well. What KPI should be tracked per goal? So brand awareness, what are we watching for? Impressions, profile reach, audience growth. Those are the main ones. Engagement. How do we know people are engaging with us? Engagement rate, that's pretty straightforward. Reactions, shares, saves, and audience growth as well. Other things that you could track that are also very helpful, link clicks and website traffic as well, easily trackable in GA4 as well as in Business Suite and a couple other sources. If you have a third-party scheduler like Sprout Social later, it's also going to give you deeper insights into website traffic, link clicks, interactions, all of that stuff as well. Also keep in mind, because I get this question a lot from clients, we use Looker Studio for our marketing reports and Google Analytics and Supermetrics to connect everything, and obviously Meta Insights and stuff like that. We use a lot of stuff. But what Google Analytics and Meta Insights tell me versus what Sprout Social tells me sometimes are actually very different. It'll tell me the engagement rate is this on one, and Sprout Social tells me something different. It's because they all have their own calculations on how they do it. So there's always that little question mark next to the KPI within Sprout Social. If you click that, consider in that statistic, if that makes sense. So just know that if you're seeing discrepancies, it's that they calculate them very, very. Okay, I'm going to check for questions here, and then we'll move on to influencer marketing next. How do you choose the right hashtag? Oh, I answered that one. Okay, perfect. All right, let's move on to influencer marketing. So this is the newest service here at Smart Sites that we offered. So I'm going to go over a little bit about it, what the benefits are, all of that good jazz. So leveraging influencers to elevate your marketing strategies has never been so easy. I can't stress that enough. Influencer marketing is one of the easiest digital marketing tactics, but also complicated at the same time. And that's why we offer it to clients. We used to just refer clients out to our partners who do influencer marketing. They'd get overwhelmed. They'd come back to us and say, well, how do we choose a good influencer? What makes a good influencer? How do I know they'll produce content that resonates with my business? That's where we're like, okay, they need somebody who knows their brand and their marketing and breathes their brand every day to help them through this. So we started offering it ourselves. So in the beginning, what you're expected to give: trial product, service, or information to ideal hand-selected influencers on your behalf. Again, this is how we do it at Smart Sites. I provide my clients with a discovery list of influencers for them to choose from. I weed through influencers day in and day out to find the ones that are legit good fit for them. So there's no guessing game for them. What you get in return is content published that reaches new audiences and large audiences at that, drives awareness, traffic, and ultimately sales is the goal. I've got the TikTok and the Instagram logo on here because TikTok and Instagram make up well over 80% of the influencer market right now. YouTube is also growing. We're getting ready to potentially add YouTube, hopefully by the end of the year. But right now it is primarily Instagram and TikTok, and that's just because of the landscape of influencers currently. Let me double check for questions. Okay, perfect. Okay, so benefits of influencer marketing for businesses. So reaching a larger audience. 90% of consumers in the US engage with influencers every single week. Speaking as an elder millennial, I hate being called that, but I am. I am barely a millennial, but I'm still a millennial. I can tell you right now, I have bought a lot of things from influencers off of TikTok. You can ask my husband. Our credit card bill shows that. Growing your brand. The average American, and this is just America, I actually think it's higher in some other countries, but we spend about 2.5 hours a day on social media. I don't know if any of you have an iPhone here, but on Sunday, every single Sunday, my phone loves to tell me how much screen time I've had for the week, and I can promise you it's more than 2.5 hours. And that doesn't include my work. That's just me scrolling social media. So you have a very high chance of getting discovered on social because people spend a lot of time there. Improving the favorability. So influencers convey your brand's message effectively and establish that trust, which in turn is going to bring you high value customers. So the quality of customers and traffic is better from influencer marketing compared to other sources because of that level of trust that people have for influencers. Now, again, I'm going to age myself a little bit here, but if you look back like to the 90s, if you remember the 90s, if you were alive in the 90s, I specifically remember going to Sears with my mom when she needed a new vacuum cleaner. That salesperson knew everything there was to know about every vacuum cleaner they had on the shelf there. So not only did she get a recommendation from somebody who knows the product, she also got to use it. So that was like hands-on experience. I remember them throwing some dirt on the carpet and say, hey, test this one out. Well, now, after that, in the early 2000s, we went into the digital era. People were turning to paid ads, digital ads, billboards, all of that stuff to discover new brands and products. But there was no recommendation there. It's just a, hey, look, that billboard's really nice design. I'm going to buy that product. And then people started getting skeptical again. Like, I don't know. It's easy to fake a lot of stuff online now. And I think we can all agree to that. Insert the influencers. Here they come with their personal recommendation. People follow them because they like them. They love their authenticity, how they create content, and ultimately that makes them trust them. So when that influencer talks about a product, they are going to trust them. I have bought so many things off of TikTok, and I've never met these people a day in my life. Why I trusted them? I don't know. A couple of the products turned out to be a flop. A couple of them turned into my favorite products ever. And I go back to those influencers for their next recommendations. I remember Sears in Chicago, people knew about, yes, exactly. And, through college, I even worked in Bed Bath & Beyond. And I remember the training we had to go through for a basic retail job. Like if you were soft lines or hard lines, which was like linens or like the kitchen products and stuff, you knew those products in and out that were on your shelf. So if a client asked a question, a customer asked a question, you knew if that Ninja blender or the Oster blender was the better fit for them and their needs. That's just not a thing anymore. But that's what we got back to. So now influencers are like that personal recommendation and that salesperson from the 90s, but in the digital era. I just love that. I love all your comments here. You guys make me feel so normal. I was alive in the 90s. Thank you for saying that. I have a couple team members who are well over 10 years younger than me. And I was just talking to the State of the Search hosts in the beginning. I'm like, sometimes I have to tell my team members when they're talking to me, bring it up a decade. I don't know what you're trying to say to me right now. So it's always a good time. Everlasting benefits and unlimited content rights. These are two things that are specific to how we do things at Smart Sites. I'm assuming a lot of people have very similar things in place though. So one of the things we have in our contracts with influencers is they have to leave their post up for a minimum of 30 days. I don't think I've really ever experienced, except for one time, an influencer taking their post down, because influencers put their posts up and that is their portfolio to help them get new jobs and more influencer contracts. So it's kind of the gift that keeps giving when it comes to marketing. If you think about paid ads, you turn those ads off, it is gone. Nobody sees it on Google anymore. Social media posts, you stop posting, there's no new posts to see. This everlasting like social media, like influencer one will pop up on your FYP, especially on TikTok all the time. There's many times I come across a video on TikTok that was actually posted a year ago. But I interact with it because it's still relevant to me. Unlimited content rights, which is also great. You guys have probably heard the term UGC, user generated content. Extremely important because it gives you authentic content you can use for marketing. It's not highly photoshopped, it's not overdone, it doesn't look fake, it's real, it's authentic. All of our clients get every piece of caption, image, carousel post, video, it doesn't matter what it is, from the influencers, and they have the free will to use it however they see fit. Content on their website, their paid ads, their social media, their email marketing, it doesn't matter. You can use it for whatever you want. I even have a couple people, one client in particular, it's a pet brand, came to me and asked, hey, can we just pay an influencer to take 50 photos of our product for us? Because like they sell pet toys. They're like, we don't have 50 dogs sitting in the warehouse just to take pictures with, but we would love some new, fresh content. And that's exactly what we did. We paid an influencer and said, hey, just give us 50 pictures. You don't have to post them if you don't want to. But we just need collateral, basically. And it ended up being far more cost effective than hiring a photographer and rounding up a bunch of dogs. So that was a really nice aspect as well. Okie dokie, let's see. How does it work? So I have this broken down in an easier to understand way here. So sourcing. So we source influencers on behalf of our clients. Each influencer is sourced using information and guidelines set in place. So I will say, all right, we want influencers in this age range with this many followers, with this engagement rate, in this niche. They need to be business professional. They need to be this. And then we use an AI tool that data scrapes Instagram and TikTok and finds people that match my criteria and invites them to apply to work with our client. And then I weed through and determine if they're a good or bad fit based on a lot of different, like I've got a checklist on how we determine what a good and bad influencer is type situation. But that's how we source them. And then we do all the outreach on behalf of our clients. And this is where a lot of clients were getting hung up with, us referring them to somebody else. They don't know how to choose an influencer, all the communication, the legal contracts to make sure they're reducing their risk. Because in reality, you're working with a stranger. You don't know if you're going to pay them and they're going to ditch out and you're never going to get your content. We don't allow that to happen. Influencers don't get paid until they provide me the content and I actually approve it. So we do the outreach on their behalf. When an influencer meets all those parameters, they're invited to apply to work with you. We match you. So again, making sure the influencer works for your brand, your tone, what your goals are. And then of course the management, contracts, all communication, all the way down to the published post and the individual reporting. You work with a specialist on my team to make this process easy and effective. All you get from us is a questionnaire that helps build out your campaign, find those influencers. You get to approve the influencers you work with. You get the final approval on the posts from the influencers. And voila, we're done. Influencer posts are live. It's a pretty quick and easy process, and our clients have, it's worked out really well for most of our clients. Okay, so the challenges in influencer marketing. I'm not going to make it all sunshine and rainbows because there are absolutely some challenges that we have faced in this industry. So time and resources consuming, but that's why people hire us, because they don't have the time to do it. It's costly to activate. A lot of influencer marketing platforms are going to require you to sign a 12-month contract around at least $1,000 a month. Some of them are $1,300 a month that I've vetted before and stuff like that. So that's a minimum commitment just to get access to the platform. That doesn't include your fees to the influencers either. Finding the right influencers, again, that's hard. How do you know who's legit, who's not? Tracking influencer activities, very difficult because you will never get access to these influencers' social media accounts to see the statistics and see the post performance. But through the software we use, they connect their profiles to the software, so I get access to their data, not their account, just their data, which helps us, measure the results. And again, that goes into measuring campaign effectiveness as well. Lack of understanding of strategy. A lot of people don't know how to coordinate things, what to ask for, what to do with influencers. I won't go through the bar graph on the right too extensively, but this is a really, really great bar graph that shows what the concerns of most people utilizing influencer marketing is, or what makes them hesitant. 50% of people are spotting fake followers and inauthentic engagement. That's really difficult to understand. Social algorithm changes is a big one. Building an always on strategy rather than on and off all the time. So again, consistency. Rising influencer costs. They're getting more pricey because they know their value and they know their worth. So we negotiate those costs on our clients' behalf to keep them lower. Keeping up with social media trends. This exhausts me, and I work in this industry. Like, it is absolutely exhausting. This is also why I hire people younger than me, because they're better at it than I am. reducing time spent managing campaigns, brand safety and alignment. There's just a lot of things that go into this with the concerns, but we cover all that on behalf of our clients here at Smart Sites. So again, just another couple statistics here because I love stats. So what is the power of influencer marketing? What power has it had over brands? So these stats are from 2023, and I'm expecting them to get stronger or at least stay consistent through 2024 as well. But $5.20 is the average ROI for every $1 spent on influencer marketing. It yields high returns. But again, we're going back to that trust and that authenticity as well. I already stated this one, but 90% of consumers have interacted with an influencer, and 80% of consumers have made a purchase based on an influencer recommendation. Guilty as charged. So that is what I have today. I would like to open the floor to any additional questions that anybody might have for me. You guys asked a lot of great questions in the comments, so I really do appreciate that. But are there any other questions that I can assist with here? And then I'm going to throw this one up too. I will ask the host to send this out. I will give them the PDF slides of this so you guys have a copy of my presentation. And this right here is a link to my work calendar. You are more than welcome to schedule a 15-minute consultation with me, and I'm happy to ask or to answer any additional questions, concerns, help you guys out in any way I can. We also offer free audits. If you'd like my team to audit your accounts and give you a basic 5 to 10 slide overview of how it's performing, what we would do differently and stuff like that, we're also more than happy to do that as well.
Oh my gosh. I took so many notes, I don't even know where to start. But I can one up you on the up a decade. I can say about 4 or 5 decades. I'm going to use that line from now on. I think that's a really good line.
I tell my kids that too. Bring it up a couple decades, man. Like, nope. Get on my terms. Can we use the bomb instead of like Riz now? Like, it's the bomb. You don't got Riz. It's the bomb.
Oh, Riz is a word now? See, that's how out of it I am. Oh, okay. Kevin's nodding his head. Okay. Well, mine's in his 30s. So, I don't know what the new words are, but here are some key points that I really, really like that you talk about. I have something. So my real question would be, there's service businesses, there's retail businesses, there's brick and mortars, and then there's online businesses, right? So out of those 4, some of them are much easier, obviously, to put on social media than others. Service-based businesses, which I was in the garage door industry for 16, 15, 13 years, whatever, 16 years. It was challenging to have a following. I tried. I did some stuff, but it was more friends that I networked with all the time than anything, right? But I moved on to something different, and I'm just getting into the quilting industry. So when you talk about personas in the garage door industry, what's your persona? It's a homeowner that has a garage door, right? Well, there's lots of those, but I wanted the people who had disposable income, blah, 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 because, then they're not going to sit there and try to negotiate with price. They want to get it fixed. They want to be done with it and move on, right? Now, the quilting industry, I know nothing about. I'm learning. And somebody had made the comment the other month or so ago that the quilting industry is as big, if not larger, than the NFL. It blew my mind. Now, if you do some research, you start seeing how big this industry is.
Oh, yeah. I bet there's a million Facebook groups out there dedicated to it. I think we've kind of seen a turn in interest too. So it used to be quilting, crocheting and stuff. That was seen as a grandma type thing to do. So it wasn't overly popular. I could tell you a lot of my friends quilt, crochet and stuff like that. Like my generation almost took a turn back to that. So, and what does my generation do? We post on social media about it. So I could definitely see that. Like, it's interesting to hear that it's bigger than the NFL. That's kind of wild to me, but I can also see people losing interest in the NFL now too. Like we've taken a turn on like traditional sports and stuff as well. I've seen in the industries. It's very interesting.
Well, I'm a huge NFL fan, obviously, and well, not obviously, but I am. I love football, and but I didn't. I think a lot of people are disgruntled, but they have big. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, all the major teams, they have a massive following on social media, right? The other thing that I really love that you said is, everybody says get on all of them or none of them. And I'm like, okay, as a business owner, you only have so many hours in the day and you may not have the budget to hire somebody. So I love that you said 2 or 3 at the most. Well, doing 2 or 3 is a whole lot easier because like Facebook and Instagram are connected. So you're really one, right?
Yeah. It's a lot to do all of them. And you have to understand too, with social media, everything is opinion based. It's experience based. People will tell you, I know the algorithms. They are lying. I have so many people come to me and they're like, do you know what the algorithm changes are? I'm like, no, Meta does not email me because I work in social media for an agency and say, this is what we're doing next. No, we're all guessing and just paying attention to trends and what the stats look like and what's working and it's not. And we're taking our best educated guess based on experience. So what I think works well and what has worked for our clients, people are probably going, she's crazy. That doesn't work. Well, you should be on all platforms. But it's opinion based. Nobody really knows the black and white scientific reasonings behind anything. It's just experience and knowledge.
So my other light bulb moment was, so I have been doing page likes ads on Facebook for the last year to try to grow my following. I haven't been really consistent with it, which I know is key. However, what you sparked an interest when you said take those followers and create an audience from it. Light bulb, duh. I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyways, thank you for that light bulb. And I do agree, only 2 or 3% of your posts are being seen. So you can post a gazillion times a day if you wanted to, and not that many people are really seeing it. And what was the other one? Oh, Messenger. Of course, we all have messages, that we send a messenger. The call to action. Another light bulb moment. Duh. Okay. It's all these little tidbits that you threw in there that I hope they go back and watch this 2 or 3 times, because you had some massive, outstanding information in this talk or presentation. I mean, it was absolutely brilliant.
Good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope everybody learned and took away something from it. I try not to make it too overcomplicated because social media can be complicated. A lot of people look at it and they're like, you're just throwing up a post. How hard can it be? What we do is much more than throwing up a post. It's the psychology behind it. It's the research behind it. It's the understanding. Sure, writing a caption is not hard. You could go in Canva and create a graphic, but are you actually doing it in a way that's going to help your business? And that's where all those other components come in. So I'm glad you found some value in it, and I hope everybody else did as well.
Oh, huge value. I think that it's very important to, throwing a post out there isn't going to bring business to you, and when you do, you see that you get no views, no conversation, no comments, no nothing. So why would you do that? But people just do because they think they're benefiting or growing.
Well, I love the influencer part. That was just like I've looked at it and I've just stayed the heck away from it. I'm like, that's like too much, but it seemed like digestible and easier, like approachable.
I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot from our clients, and especially our existing clients, especially when they found out that we were doing influencer, they're like, oh, good, because we've approached it before, because they hear it. They hear the buzz about it. They, think about it. They're like, oh, it's the new upcoming digital marketing trend, but nobody knows how to navigate it. So I try to simplify your clients as much as we can.
I'm glad that you're doing that, because it is very true. It is newer. I mean, it's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories both ways. I'm in another group, and one gal went with an influencer and she does gluten-free products, and she promised people gluten-free products, yet when they got the product, it was gluten. And so then, they made the influencer look really, really bad, and she did an apology and this and that, and, tried it one more time. And again, gluten. So, you have to be really careful with who you are putting your name with. And
You do.
luckily, she has a strong following and has for over 10 years. So, anyways, it's very important. And do you feel like, I mean, I'm getting older, but your generation, right? I feel like influencers are going to become the thing. Instead of the brick and mortar store, the influencers are becoming the thing. Is that a true statement or
Yeah.
growing business?
That's a good question. I've got a couple like opinions on this. Again, it's all opinion based, just based on what I see, what I'm asked, what I hear, and stuff like that. Influencers are definitely going to be the new thing, and it's going to continue to grow. I think Mike actually had shared a graph with me not too long ago, and he told me I wasn't allowed to use it anywhere because what it showed was the general consensus is that people want to buy from and they trust influencers more than PPC, SEO, and websites. He's like, I know we offer it. He's like, but we're not going to put that out there and put the damper on all of our services. I'm like, why? It's good for me. Like, it's good for my team and my department. But the statistics currently are showing that influencer marketing is going to be where it's at.
Yeah, I'm going to cut this part out.
What was that?
I'm going to cut that part out, so don't worry about it.
No, it's fine. It's cool. But yes, I think the trends and the statistics and the data are very strong right now from reputable sources that it's going to be where it's at for sure moving forward. The other thing that's interesting that we're seeing too, especially with a lot of client work, is that people actually have unrealistic expectations of digital marketing right now. And it's because of the COVID era. When we hit COVID, everything shut down. Everything went digital. People couldn't go to the store. They couldn't go shopping. So what they do, buy online. Well, guess what? Everything's open now. So we are actually starting to see a little bit of a shift back towards brick and mortar as well, which contradicts what I said, I know.
Good.
But so if you look at Google Trends, a lot of times the website traffic is slightly down from what it was 3 years ago. But I think it's a natural progression going back to normal, life again. And people aren't understanding that. They want to be like, but 3 years ago, my online sales were triple this. But yeah, because nobody could go anywhere or do anything.
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Well, I mean, from a person who was a brick and mortar, I'm happy to hear that because, people who are in brick and mortar, they outlay a lot of cash to be there for people to come in. And I don't think the general public understands how much cash gets outlaid to have that, doors open and you come in and shop. So I'm all for people going back into the I'm a store person, but then again, I am older.
You're not that old. It's okay. You're not
You're gonna
saying that.
You're gonna share the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said you're on a webinar. It can't be that bad. Like
I'm a lot older than you think. I'm a lot older than you think.
You're gonna share a link to the free consultation, right?
Say that again.
Yeah. So I will download this as a PDF. And I will send you the presentation if you'd like to send it out to your email list, just so they have my notes. I'm happy to do so. And then everybody has my link for consultations as well. Again, I don't do client-facing work anymore because I'm in management. So I've got days dedicated to 15, 30-minute consultations. We do free audits all the time for clients. So we're happy to do all of that as well.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
That's awesome. Anybody else have any other questions? You were that good, Kymber. You were that good.
Good. Well, that means I was thorough then. But there were some great questions along the way. I love this kind of stuff. I love bantering back and forth because really, what is social media? What is marketing? Brainstorming sessions. We meet as a team weekly and we bring up all our client questions and stuff like that and bounce ideas off each other because we are all in the understanding 5 brains are better than 1.
Mm-hmm.
My perspective is very different than my team's and vice versa. So definitely happy to help. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Maybe I'll bug Mike to take me with him to the conference this fall.
Do, please. Please. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming and share this video with all your friends in the business world because I'm telling you, this is a must watch, and learn and implement. Go implement, right?